Dave here with Limitless Brave. Today we're going to be talking about some of the challenges that men face when it comes to climbing the corporate ladder. Now, climbing the corporate ladder and succeeding isn't always about more work, more overtime, more dedication, being the ideal company man. It's more so about looking at yourself first, taking care of yourself first, remaining grounded, having a solid mindset with a little bit of good strategy. Executives and C-suite people don't become who they are without a lot of work on themselves, without a lot of talent, either natural or earned, a lot of charisma, and a lot of ability to stick to it through thick and thin and make things happen for themselves. There are those components that are required, but if you don't have a solid mindset, then it's going to be really hard to achieve those higher level goals as you're climbing the corporate ladder. First of all, you need to believe that you deserve to be in those positions. You also need the critical skills to be in those positions, and of course the tenure. But a lot of this comes down to the mindset that you have about yourself and the strategy that you use to get to those higher positions. When it comes to internal promotions and just getting a job in general, most jobs, about 85% of them, are filled through networking, filled through opportunities that you have to network, connect, and meet the higher ups to get you into those positions. Very rarely are those positions filled with just submitting the polished resume, tweaking this font, that font, right? Running it through all of your AI and everything else that people do to try to have the perfect resume. Those people don't get called back. Those people don't get the promotion. Most get the promotion. Like I said, 85% are promoted through networking with higher ups and people that can get you into those positions. It isn't really necessarily a good resume that gets you to those positions. Sure, you need the good resume, but it isn't what's actually going to get you there. So if you're like Milton in Office Space, crushing your TPS reports and your quarterly reports and doing everything by the book, while your colleagues are out having lunch with other colleagues, managers, going to company events, after work events, etc. While they're out networking and connecting with other people in the company, their likelihood of being promoted is going to go through the roof compared to you sitting in your cubicle and polishing your resume. So get yourself out there, even strike up a conversation at the water cooler, grab some coffee for some people, maybe go out for coffee, do a lunch, hang out after work, maybe do some sports together, anything you can to connect with these people that can move you up the chain. That's what it's about. First, you have to believe that you deserve to be there, and you need the qualifications to get there. Everything else to move you there is kind of simple. It's just simply networking, good socialization, and good human connection. Now, this one causes men a lot of problems in the workplace. A lot of men have high IQs, but very low EQs. So your emotional quotient or your emotional intelligence is a critical factor when it comes to the workplace these days. You can't just be hyper analytical and not connect with people and expect to be promoted. Now, does that happen? Absolutely. There are people that are incredibly analytical, have very poor social skills, very poor emotional skills, but they're so talented at what they do, they can just kind of be put in their own cubicle, their own place, and they keep getting the raise because their skill set far outweighs the other difficulties that you might have with that type of employee. But yeah, emotional intelligence is really important because that's going to help you socialize and build those networking bonds that are really, really important to get yourself up the ladder. Now, if you struggle with emotional intelligence and you don't quite know what it is or how to define it, well, I run a lot of workshops on emotional intelligence, expression, and helping guys understand how to communicate from feeling as well as being masculine and grounded. Most men were never taught how to read a room. Some are, and some can naturally, and that's great. That's a huge advantage, especially in the boardroom. who's doing what cues are being given away. And that's how you can become very successful if you have that emotional intelligence. You can read the room, which is a huge advantage. And research has shown that over 90% of your top level performers have extremely high emotional intelligence. Now, their intellect about doing their job may not be that great, and that's frustrating for people under them that do have the intellect to do the job. But that's not what rises you to the top ranks of any type of corporation. It's a lot of emotional intelligence, because you have to be able to handle people. You have to understand people. You have to understand how to lead them, motivate them, especially when they don't like what you're doing or think differently than you. That is a sign of a true leader to be able to motivate people like that. So the reasons executives are in the positions that they are is because they have great people skills, great networking skills, and have high emotional intelligence. So whether we like it or not, emotion is a thread that runs through all layers of business, from the top with your executives and your C-suite, all the way down to the customer that you're just onboarding. It's all an entire emotional process. And the people that make the most sales, that rise to the top the quickest, those are the ones who are emotionally intelligent. Here's another serious problem, and that is the emotional burnout from working as much as you do. Trying to maintain the work-life balance is extremely difficult. Guys tend to put way too much effort into their business, into their career, and neglect the family, neglect the social things that they need to do. A well-rounded executive, a well-rounded employee, a well-rounded manager is going to be able to do everything he needs to do and have a really solid work-life balance. He's not going to be dedicated to the company more than he should. He's not going to be giving up on his family for the sake of the business. He's going to play that just right. So when you're in a position of power like that, it is extremely difficult to have a nice work-life balance. It's something that took me a long time to figure out. But once I got it figured out, I know when it's time to work really hard, and I know when it's time to play really hard. Remember, guys, you can't be everything to everyone all the time. You have to be selfish. You have to take care of yourself first. You need all of your physical and emotional needs met. And once they are, and you feel fulfilled and satiated, well, now you have excess to give away, to help other people with, to be present with the wife, the girlfriend, the family, whatever it may be, other work colleagues. So make sure that you're putting yourself first before anything else in your life. And once you do that, life starts working out really easy for you, because you don't feel exhausted. You don't feel like there's nothing left in the tank anymore when you have that nice balance. It's really important to maintain that balance. And one of the final things that a lot of men struggle with is the feedback resistance that they get when they're getting reviews. A lot of guys get frustrated. A lot of guys take it personally. At the end of the day, you're just a small cog in a big machine. And if your cog needs some tweaking, well, go ahead and tweak it. Don't take it personally. You should really be seeking out constructive criticism and then making the changes to be a top performer. Now, if it's a toxic environment, I get it. Fuck that. Nobody wants to deal with that. But if it's properly structured and good critical criticism that empowers you, that shows you, hey, this is where you could be a little better, by all means, seek that out, take it in, and use it to your advantage to create a better strategy, a better version of yourself to climb that ladder. This is what the top performers do. They're looking for constructive criticism. They're looking for critical feedback because they want to get better, because they know that they're not perfect. And if you don't get feedback, how are you ever going to change? How are you ever going to be the best version of yourself? So if you're not seeking out constructive criticism, go start looking for it. Ask, get people to show you where you're failing, where things could be better, and where you're really rock solid. that's just as important as where you're lacking. All right, guys, if you want to come take a workshop with me, I put all the workshops down below. I don't have any business workshops running currently, but in 2026, I'm going to bring those on board, help you guys that are running businesses, climbing the corporate ladder, help you with that emotional intelligence, help you with understanding people and social dynamics, reading people in cues as well, to help you climb that ladder and make more money. And if you're looking for an online community of like-minded men to join and hang out, then check out the Limitless Brave Private Reserve. It is in the description below as well. Join that, and if you got any questions, you can ask them in there. All right, guys, have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.